Good morning, sir.
गुड मॉर्निंग
Good
गुड
morning,
मॉर्निंग
sir.
मैम कैसे हैं मैम या
I'll just speak to Naresh, sir.
राइट मैम
To this interactive video conference on productivity improvement through process waste reduction. So today we have with us our experts, Mr. Naresh Chawla. Mr. Naresh Chawla is associated with Kaizen Institute as senior consultant. Kaizen Institute is the original and premier provider of Kaizen services, having its presence in 50 plus countries. And Mr. Chawla is accomplished business excellence coach with over 25 years of experience. And he's a certified productivity practitioner from Asian Productivity Organization, Japan. And he'll be covering today cost reduction techniques for understanding process waste and lean concept and tools. So over to you, Mr. Naresh. So you need to unmute.
Sorry, very good morning to all. Cost reduction, in fact, we covered last time. This time we will focus more on productivity. What is that? How we can improve productivity, and what are the various ways and means that we can utilize to improve productivity. First of all, thank you very much. Thanks to PhD Chambers and Madam Ramneet for roping me into this program. Uh, Productivity is one concept which is very, very close to my heart, maybe because I spent a good time with National Productivity Council, and National Productivity Council was a founding member of Asian Productivity Organization. And through Asian productivity organizations, I got groomed as a productivity practitioner or a productivity specialist, and which was means I'm feeling very lucky because I got that opportunity. And I always feel that whatsoever you have learned, we should share with the people, especially for the entrepreneurs, because they are the backbone of our economy. And unless they are not going to perform, our economy is not going to perform. So if you see by definition that what productivity is, so generally we say that productivity is a you can say productivity and competitiveness, they are the two sides of the same coin. If we are improving the productivity, and only then we can improve our competitiveness. So when I say the competitiveness means, what is the unique feature in my product, that why my customer should leave my competitor and should buy my product. It may be some unique feature which I am having, or it may be because I am very, very cost competitive, or it may be because my quality is very good, my reliability is very good, my product is lasting for a long time, and it is improving the quality of life of the people. And it may be because I'm very fast, my delivery is very fast, my speed of delivering the things is very fast, and that's why people are preferring me. So that value proposition you have to choose depending upon the target audience you are serving. And one definition which I like the most, which is given by the APO, if you go to the APO website, you will find this motto is there on their website: that tomorrow shall be better than today. So whatsoever you are doing, if your actions are making your tomorrow better than today, it means you are productive. And productivity, by and large, depends upon three things. We say the efficiency, we say effectiveness, and adaptability. Now, what is the meaning of efficiency and effectiveness and adaptability? I will just share with you. Efficiency, we generally say that doing the things rightly means how well you are performing the task which is given to you. And effectiveness is, you can say, it is setting the direction, it is setting the right direction. So if you have to go from point A to B, so you have to follow one direction. So if your direction is not right, so no matter how fast you are moving, how efficient you are, you will never reach to your destination. So we need efficiency and effectiveness. And last but not the least, which is very getting popular these days, that is adaptability. That how adaptable your organization is for the changes which are happening. The COVID is best example. The companies, organizations who are adaptable for the change, they could survive. And the organizations which were not those adaptable, they are struggling. So that's why it means adaptability has become very very important, and it has to be not only in the organization but in the employees of the organization also, the people who are working in the organization also, and even the entrepreneurs. Suddenly it may happen that because of certain things, you may have to change your line of business. The people, I have seen that people, they were into
Hello.
some different line of thoughts. Now they are manufacturing the things which are related to the COVID. So that is adaptability, that you are trying to um, adapt your organizations depending upon the circumstances, depending upon the requirement. So there is another measure which is given to me by productivity, which I share with the people who are working in the operational management. I will share with you that also. And there is another dew point analysis is there, which is very good for entrepreneurs. So I will share that also, that how entrepreneur can identify that in which direction they should move. So first of all, the operational definition, which we say that the productivity is a function of your method efficiency, your utilization, and your resource efficiency. So if you want to improve your productivity, either you have to improve your utilization, means if people are spending 70% of the time, if machine is working say 70% of the time, so it should work for the 100% of the time. Your resource efficiency means how people are working, and the kind of method you are adopting. What is your method efficiency? So in this also, I will tell you further that the utilization has a cap. You cannot go more than 100%. That is very very obvious, because utilization is with respect to time. You can utilize the 100% of the time, you cannot create a new time. And resource efficiency, if you talk about the man or a machine also, again there is a limitation. There is a thumb rule that you cannot go more than 30%. Means if your design speed is say 100 pieces, you can go up to 130 pieces with some innovations or continuous improvement. But beyond that you cannot do. But as far as method efficiency is concerned, it's infinite. The leverage which you will get from the method, it is infinite. You cannot imagine that if you are changing the way you are working, how means your productivity will increase. And sometimes we may go for some technological innovations or a low cost automation. So there are many things which we can go for improving our productivity, right? So we'll discuss it further. And then there is another measure, which is by and large, we say the dew point measure is there. That all these things, this land, machine, or you can say resource productivity, they are all partial measures of productivity. These are decent measure of productivity. And entrepreneurs understand this. I will share one of my experience. I remember when I was doing implementing lean in some of the cluster in Mohali. So MSME officials, they used to come for the visit, that how much change has come to your organization. So I remember that one of the uh, entrepreneur, he gave a very frank answer. He told, sir, I was having two units. So my products were being manufactured in the two units. So now my layout has been changed. So I have combined the two units. So I was spending 2 lakhs rupees per month on the transportation between these units. So that I have saved, and I have saved the, you can say, the capital, means the 1,000 yard uh, your land is there, that I have saved. So this is the saving which I can see. The rest means my balance sheet or profit and loss account will tell. So this is a very good measure. That means if you are saving space, if you are saving machine, if you are saving manpower, you are improving productivity. There is no doubt. And these are the operational metrics for improving your productivity. But the real metric of productivity is money. Money, when I say money, means return on investment. You have invested some money, and if you are getting a good return on that, it means you are into a productive business. So how we do, the Dew Point has given a formula that return on equity or return on investment, return on equity is more applicable for the public limited companies where you are having a shareholders money. So it is proportional to the profitability of your product. Profitability of product means how much, you can say, return on your sales you are getting, how much income you are getting from your sales. So for example, pharma products are there, they are having a better profitability, means wherever, uh, or you can say technical products are there, they are having better profitability. Then you have the efficiency. Efficiency means the asset turnover, how quickly you can rotate your assets. It may be your inventory turns, it may be your OE of the machines. So all those things will come here. I will explain it further. And then the leverage, we say the asset to equity ratio. That's why I told this is more applicable for the people who are into public sector. So I will not talk much about this leverage. So I will focus on profitability and efficiency. So I will just share one example with you. You can see there are two companies, XYZ and ABC. Okay, so the XYZ company, it is having a profit margin of 30%. So very good profit margin is there. Very few items are having a profit margin of 30%. And ABC is having a margin of 10% only. Now you see the asset turnover. The asset turnover of XYZ is 50%. So it means that I am able to rotate my money, you can say, once only 2 years, whereas ABC is having a 1.5. So it means every 9 months I am able to rotate my money. So my ROI, it will become 15% in case of XYZ, 15% in case of ABC. Now which company is better in your regard, whether it's XYZ or ABC? Anybody want to participate in this?
I think ABC.
ABC. Yes, anybody else? Okay. As a productivity practitioner, I will say your answer is very right, because we also promote this, that if your asset turnover is more, then even if your profit margin is less, you will not bother about that. But there are companies where means we are looking for more profit margins, and there may be less, you can say, asset turnover. So it depends at what kind of model you are having. But as a lean practitioner, I promote that your asset turnover should be more, so that you can rotate your money faster. And I think entrepreneur, they can understand what is the meaning of rotation of money. Right. So again, this is a Dew Point formula, means you can even go to the roots, means you can see your balance sheet, you can see your uh, profit and loss account, and see certain ratios, and based on those ratios you can see that what type of project you should take. So I will not explain it further, because many of you might be aware this, their CAs might be helping in this. If not, then means we can sit together someday and see that how your balance sheet and your profit and loss account is performing. So so the first thing was the profitability. Now profitability, this can be improved through innovations. I remember, means I was reading one book on some great economists. So there was one person, Joseph Schumpeter. So he has given a philosophy that whatsoever change is happening in the society, it is because of the innovation, the technological innovations which are happening in the society. And after that, during one phase, then we go for continuous improvement. So we all know by these days that the first innovation which happened, that was the steam engine. So that's why we say that it's industry 1.0. And the first industry which got benefited from that thing was the textile industry. So most of uh, initial you can say technical innovations, they were from textile industry. And that's how it was mainly by and large driven by UK. And then it spread to the other European country. So apart from this, means then there was invention of electricity was there by Benjamin. A very long back it was there, but it was put to use only in the early 90s, when we have a concept of power grid was there. And at the same time, there was invention of internal combustion engine, and the concept of this motor came by Faraday. So that thing was combined, and a new automobile was born that was driven by the power. A new engine was born. So that is how our industry 2.0 happened, which was mainly led by assembly lines and the mass production. And then third wave means people of my age, they are aware that it happened when the computer came to us. I remember my batch in Punjab Engineering College was the first batch when computer was introduced to the non computer branches. So at that time, computer was something which was you can say something new for us, which we have never seen. And in fact, though we were having subjects related to computer, but we haven't seen the computers. I saw my first computer when I joined my first job in Vardhan. So that is how invention happened. And now we are having a, you can say, fourth wave. So we will discuss something about that also. So whenever there is a introduction of something new product which customer are not familiar, or a new version of the good which is having a better quality, you can relate this to the invention of iPhone was uh, the smartphone. You can say the concept of smartphone is not given by any customer. It was the thinking of Steve Jobs, that how customer will like this product. And many of you might be knowing that till 2007, Nokia was a $150 billion company. And 2 years back, it was sold in $7 billion, just because they couldn't adapt to the new invention which happened. And the introduction of new method of production is there, that how you are manufacturing. The best example I can give you the Sony. So you must have seen the Sony picture tube was entirely different. We used to say that Sony TV is the best because the picture quality is best. Why that was best? Because the way they are manufacturing this CRT TVs, that manufacturing method was different from rest of the people. That is why, means they were having command over you can say the market. Then the opening to the new market, your existing market is saturated and you are going to a new market that will also give you a good sales, good profit margin. The best example you can say that how East Indian company that came to India, it is just in the search of new market. And what China is doing, China is also going to you can say all the places just for the search of market. And other global companies, they are coming to India because our market size is very good. That is why they want to come to India. And then there could be you can say a new source of raw material or new source of SKD material. You can relate to that why we are going for Chinese product, because they are, you can say, in faster, and then they are having a cheaper, so that we can use those sources of raw material and SKD materials. And last but not the least, the creation of monopoly position. That is very very interesting. I can give you one example of Gillette. The people who are doing regular shaving, I'm sure they are not using anything else than Gillette. because Gillette has created almost a monopoly position in the market, and that is because the innovation which Gillette is doing, because he is aware that my product will be copied as soon as it will come. So every 3 years he is almost raising its own bar. That's the best example of continuous improvement. He's you can say continuously into research and coming up with a new product. By the time rest of the people they copy their product, he will come with some other product. So that is why means the name Gillette is not going out of our mind. It is always there, right? So now it has come to even the ladies product which I have seen, the Gillette. So these are the 5 things which are required if you want to improve your profit margins, or you can say sales margins, right? So the second thing which I told you was how to improve your asset turnover. The asset turnover you can do only if you are eliminating the process waste. That the second topic we are having today, that how to reduce the process waste. And you can enhance asset turnover, you can do more with less. So these are all means to end. Our end is that we want to improve productivity, we want to improve our competitiveness so that we can sell more. So these are the means that how you can improve your productivity. uh, the same thing which I was telling you, the best indicator for you can say for your productivity of money is that how quickly you are getting your money back. And this concept was given by Taichi Ono, means when the customer is placing us an order, so after what time my product shipment is happening, so they were tracking that time. So if I am squeezing this time, okay, so it means I can earn more money. So time is like a money. So if you are having more rotations, as I was telling you in the beginning, that asset turnover is more, you can have better productivity. And that is the essence of lean, that you have to do more with less. How you can do it? When you are rotating your product faster, you have to create a flow. There should not be any process in your organization where material is held up. It should keep on moving. It's just like a river, it should keep on moving. The problem happens when it is stopped. And why it is stopped? It is stopped because of some problems. There may be some breakdown in machinery, so that's why I have to stop the flow. There may be you can say some quality issues there, so that's why I have to stop my production. There may be some absenteeism, the person is not there of required skills, so I have to stop production. There may be because I have not got my raw material from my vendors, that's why I have to stop my production. There may be that my setup time is very high, so that is the reason that you have to stop your production. I remember there was one of entrepreneur, he met me into CI conference. He called me to his unit. He told, sir, means if you can suggest me something that how I can improve my efficiencies. So I went to his units. So he was manufacturing some product. uh, so there were around, I have seen 100 bins were there, and each bins were having almost 2000 products. So the inventory was 2 lakhs. So I just told them that can we do something, that if we reduce the size of the bin, instead of 2000 material, if we are moving 500 products, so is it possible or not? So the first question which came from their side is, sir, if we are going to have uh, a size of bins from 2000 to 500, my number of bins will increase from 100 to 400. This is very obvious. A typical production minded uh, person will ask this question. So then I asked that, means if you are their first operation was forging, and after that, because forging is a hot operation, so you have to hold the material. So I told that, okay, after forging store, if you are issuing a bin, then after what time this bin is coming back to you? So he is saying after almost 1 week. So I told that if it can come every day, then what will happen? So if it is coming every day, then there is no need to increase the number of bins. Number of bins will remain same. It will remain 100, and your inventory will come down from 2 lakhs pieces to 50,000 pieces. Then he struck. Then he told, sir, actually, I have to keep this much material because the setup time of my broaching machine is 2 hours. So I told that this is a real problem. Now you have to reduce the setup time from 2 hours to half an hour. Only then you can do it. So that is how, through drill down, you can go to the real problem of shop floor. But the end objective is that we have to make the material movement fast, and we have to create the flow, right? So uh, so we have to do our activities in such a fashion that the more value should be added to the customer and waste should be eliminated. So in nutshell, you can say doing more with less. That is what the meaning of lean is, right? Doing more with less means less human effort. We are having less space, less inventory, less of lead time, and less of defects. Everything is less. And we are, you can say, coining a word for this, that is the lean thinking. So making, what is lean thinking? You have to make rapid improvement through elimination of all those human activities which are absorbing resource but they are not creating value. Elimination of mistakes that are requiring rework. Then production of items no one wants, so inventory is piling up. Sometimes it happens that the order is of 100 pieces, but I know that my setup time is very very large, so I want to take the advantage of economy of production. So I say, okay, produce 400, I will sell 300 later on. But it may happen that you may get a order of 200 later on, and 100 pieces will remain there. So that is how, means your cost of production will increase, and you will never realize, because your balance sheet will say that that is an inventory. So that inventory is on asset side. It's your, you can say, working asset, but in fact it's a loss. So if you go for the lean accounting, then only you will realize that's the waste which I have created. And lot many organization, even the big organization, I have seen that they are into this vicious circle, that they are having inventory and they are being shown on the asset side. So they are not realizing that this is a waste. So processing steps which are not actually adding value, which are not needed, the movement of the employees without any purpose. So that is why, means the distance between the machines are kept, you can say, very very reasonable. I remember in one of uh, this one of my assignment, the lean cluster only, one of the entrepreneur, he asked me, sir, what happened, that my worker is not listening to me. What he is doing, he is picking 10 pieces at the same time, and then he is placing those 10 pieces on the headstock. So if one of the piece will fall down, so chuck is moving, so it will hurt his eye, and he's not understanding that he should not do like this. And when the piece is ready, he is placing that piece on the tailstock. So my tailstock bed is getting damaged. So what to do? So I told, okay, let's go to the Gamba inside, we'll see what happened. So all the movements we generally try to divide into 5 major movements. There are certain movements which we can do with the fingers. There are certain movements which we can do with the wrist. Okay, so all these things, they are fatigueless. There is no fatigue in these movements. And that is why you must have seen that the ladies are better in those kind of jobs where you are using fingers and wrist, because the skill is involved, and the skill level of ladies are better than the gents counterpart. So the third movement will be when you are moving your arm. So that is the minimum movement which you require, and the difference between a male and a female is only 3% of fatigue level. So these 3 movements are, you can say, expected movement which has to be there in any activity. Our first level of fatigue will come when we'll use the shoulder. So you will see that wherever we are deploying shoulder, we are not using ladies because shoulders are weak. So we try to deploy male, but the type of fatigue they are having is huge. It may be 40%, it may be 45%, depending upon the kind of work they are having, the kind of load they are lifting. Because when you are lifting, only then you are using your shoulder. And the fifth thing is when you are bending your torso. So all these things you have to see carefully, that we should use only lower level of limb. So when I went to the workshop, I saw that the input material, the bin was almost more than a yard away. So it's a human tendency, even if you are working over there, because safety is something which will come later. So first I will be bothering about my own fatigue, so I will pick a heap and I will keep near to me. The same thing was the out bin. So what we did, that we kept that bin close to the hip, so that he can utilize only this movement. So if we are having this movement, then I can pick one by one. Okay, that's how you can solve the problem, by minimizing the movement of your employees. Then there may be incidents when the downstream people or the processors, they are waiting for the material to come. That is also we have to eliminate. Goods and services which do not meet the needs of the customer, that is again a waste. So we should try to avoid this. Okay, so all these things, there is a common name, we say it's a waste. And for waste, means how to identify waste. It's very easy. I will just quickly skip these slides, because many of you might be aware about this, but wherever you have any question, you can just stop me and tell me that you want to know more about this. That if any work is a value creation plus waste. Okay, so customer is paying only for the value creation portion, and he is not paying for the waste. So what are the wasteful activities? If your material is getting transformed chemically or physically, it's a value added activity. When the customer is willing to pay and he sees something, it's a value added activity. But you can say, if you are eliminating something from your product or process and customer is not aware that you have eliminated it, means it was a non value added. So we divide into three categories. There are value added components which we have to retain, and there are non value added which we have to eliminate. But apart from this, there is a third category which we sometimes require from the business perspective. Say your regulatory compliance is there, so that is a non value added, but you required. Many of you might be going for some audits, some you can say inspection. All those things are required, but they are not adding value. So we can only trim it down. We can reduce it, but we may not be able to eliminate those. Right. So non-valued activities, we all know that waiting of material, information, producing more than required, processing beyond a requirement, waiting for the people, movement of people, then committing mistakes and error. All these are waste, and generally we refer it as a downtime. Downtime means the 8 waste which you are having in the lean, that defects is there, overproduction, waiting, non-utilization of talent, then transportation, inventory, motion, then extra processing. So all these are waste which we are having in our system. Even in your office, you will see that there are a lot of waste which are happening. Many people ask me, sir, we are into an office, we are not in a shop floor, so all those waste are not applicable to us. But even if you are in an office, even if you're in a house, you can see all these things, and these waste are happening around us. Say some delay is there, the customer has to wait, so it's a waste. A duplication, you are entering your data 2 times, 3 times, that is a waste. Unnecessary movement, the poor ergonomics of your layout, that is again a waste. Unclear communication. Okay, incorrect inventory means that will lead to out of stock or overstocking. Then opportunity lost if you are not able to retain your customer. Then errors, and you can say the things which are getting damaged during transaction, they are also you can say the waste which you are having. So this was all about, you can say, my presentation about productivity. I will just quickly tell you that how Industry 4.0 can help us in further improving our, you can say, innovation quotient, and how it can help us removing the process waste. So as I was telling you that there are certain audits or inspections which are happening. So now most of the things will be on cloud. So the time which we used to waste in collecting the data, or you can say auditing the things, that will come down. And there are many technologies, not only the cloud, like your big data is there, where we are capturing the behavior of the machine, you can say. So it can tell us before the machine is getting uh, going to break down. It will give us a signal that this machine is going to fail. So that is how we can improve our maintenance system. We can go for smart maintenance. Then we can have digital kanbans. Digital kanbans means there is no need to move paper along with your bins. So there may be some RFID code is there. So RFID code will tell me, it will even give me the total traceability of that material, that where it was manufactured, who has manufactured. And even if sometimes it happened that your vendor, you called your vendor, your material has not reached, so he will say, sir, it has, I have dispatched it already. But now he may not be able to tell you the wrong information, because you can actually track the your material. If it has been dispatched, you can see your material is moving. So all these things, it is happening because of the technology which we are using these days. And the cost of technologies is coming down day by day. And I'm expecting that in the next 4 to 5 years, maybe means before that, these technologies will become part and parcel of our daily life. We will be having smart houses, we will be having smart warehouses, smart machines, smart cars, smart computers, smartphones are already there. So this is you can say brief about my presentation. So I will just stop it here. So if you have any question, any query, we can discuss.
Thank you, sir, for your very detailed presentation, for covering all the techniques and measures to reduce process waste management. And you have very rightly implemented lean in this program. With less time, you have covered more.
Thank you very much.
So moving further, we have with us Mr. Ankur Dheer. He is a principal consultant and trainer, Quality Solutions, Chandigarh. He has, over 18 years of experience in providing services in the area of TQM, ISO standards, product and process certification, Z, and he's empaneled consultant and lean manufacturer consultant with National Productivity Council, and he's also approved master trainer for Z scheme by Quality Council of India. So I invite Mr. Ankur for his presentation.
Thank you,
Over to
ma'am.
you, sir.
Good morning to all. And first of all, I would like to thank PhD Chamber, Madam Ramneet, uh, and and all the participants for joining us today on this occasion. Uh, Ma'am, can you help
Sir,
me
I
with
have
the?
shared the screen.
Yeah, just a minute. I'll just share my screen now. Okay. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So you can have
So
full view of the screen.
yeah, I'm just getting that. So my topic today is cost reduction techniques. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the concept of the Z model, which is zero effect, zero defect. Was again patented in India by Quality Council of India along with Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise. And I will also try to touch briefly about material flow cost accounting system, which is another initiative by National Productivity Council about to revolutionize the way we do the cost analysis part. As given an introduction by Chawla sir about how we can understand the wastes, and giving us the details about what are the wastes and how what are the things which we are doing wrongly, to eliminate that waste. This concept of Z came into picture. So Z was basically an initiative by the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise, in which it basically asked for a unique and holistic maturity assessment model for the industry, because there have been several models of business excellence. Like there is a CI Exim Award model, there is a Deming Award, there are several awards by various countries. Uh, like the European Council of Quality has their own version of something of a business excellence model. So this was in that space that the MSME initiated, that how we can make our MSMEs productive, as well as they can face the world. And they make in India, as the flagship program of government of India wanted that many of the manufacturers come to India to start manufacturing in India. And when the MNC companies come to India, they are looking at how they can develop their own vendors for that supply chain. Now the supply chain looks at various angles, how you go to and select a vendor. So they look at, one of the methods for each of the vendor is that they look at, okay, the supplier is an certified supplier, and meaning he's an ISO. We covered that in our the first one of the first video lectures, in which we discussed about standardization and the benefits of standardization. So generally, most of the companies and MSME sector have this certification. So what is the differentiator? How they will go and select that vendor which actually gives them the value for their money, and they are long term, and they can improve their products, they can improve their processes, and they can reduce your waste. So this scheme came into picture. Now it includes your assessment, rating, and handholding. So this scheme covers three parameters. One is your assessment mark, where the assessment team, duly recognized by Quality Council of India and NABCB, which is National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, they are duly rating agencies. They come to your place, they review as per the criteria, they assess your system against that criteria and give you a rating. Rating is again like something like a GPS. What's the difference between a rating and a certification? Normal certification is that a rating is something where you can say a global positioning system helps you to identify where you are. If you are somewhere, say your quality is good, but you are not performing on your health and safety or sustainability goals, or you are missing out on other regulatory frameworks, then you will have a rating. Say you are at the lower level, you are not at the higher level. So if you want to go to improve your rating, you need to improve not only in quality, you have to improve on your health safety index, you have to improve on your performance of identifying waste, looking at industrial relations, you have to look at improving legal compliances. So again, this model also had one thing called hand holding, where you can always access. So this model had that consultancy part also. So it helps you. So if you go, say you got a model where you get a rating, you qualify minimum, so you are at bronze level, which is the level, which the lowest level the Z scheme had. So you can always focus how we can improve next year, or with some intervention from say experts, I can achieve a higher level of rating. So that is hand holding requirement at that time, so that you can focus, like you have a good quality system in place, you have a good running QMS, but you want help in your legal compliances, you want help in say innovation part, or you want help in to understanding the lean management principles and improving on those parameters. So that hand holding was introduced there. Again, the parameters are well defined in Z. There are over 50 parameters, which includes production, design, quality, and safety environment. So it zero effect on zero defect. Zero effect, we talk about the environment, so that whatever we produce doesn't have an effect on the environment. And then whatever we do, develop a product, it should be defect free. So that's the way how the industrialization nations of Japan, the European nations, and the American, the US market emerged after the mass production era. Once they started this slogan of zero defects, Zero defect was one of the very early slogans by Phil Crosby. And in his book, Quality is Free, he gave a lot of intervention how this can help a business to grow, optimize its performance. So these parameters are well known to each us, because most of the companies, even MSMEs, entrepreneurs, know that we go for at least ISO 9001, which is talks about your quality management system, which includes production, service, delivery aspects, and even design part. If that design part is you are a design responsible company, the design is also there. So you are being rated on quality in design. So this is something which you are aware, and then it also implements and asks you to look into your safety and environment functions also, how we can improve our safety function and environmental, understanding the environment better, so that we can make products which doesn't have an impact in your, say, export. Now look at this one of the criteria of any industry is, like, many companies want to export their products to foreign countries. Now the gap between a good product in India and a foreign country is dependent on the legal regulations of each country. Now most of the countries in Europe has some control. They don't want your products to have like a lead content in them. They don't want some your products to have say like a wooden bat, like, which can be sold in India, sometimes would not be sold in UK, because they would require that you are not taken the wood uh, from a tree which is not been accounted for. So they will ask for some certification on that angle, that this product is from a responsible sourcing only, unethical sourcing has not been used. So these are some of the examples. Like in sports industry, they also ask, if you are using child labor, they will not take products from you. If you are using irresponsible farming, they will not take a product from you. So again, they will ask for that all these parameters you are understanding and you're implementing. So it covers your EHS in a bigger way. It also asks you, at least there are 20 mandatory ones, which are the minimum requirements, keeping in mind the thinkers of this model, keeping in mind that the requirements of the industry and the minimum requirement for the supply chain, the 20 parameters are mandatory for any organization. So it includes quality, it includes safety, it includes environment. What are the minimum requirements? It includes the legal framework, so that the organization and the supply chain which you are supplying doesn't shut down due to any legal formalities or due to any minimum requirement not being met. And there are additional 25 parameters which have been given for another flagship program, like the government of India has pushed from the last few years, that the defense production should be localized. So being pushing that vocal for local push, the Z model has a defense parameter structure separately defined. Uh, Now, defense model basically is covering those organizations which are into they are vying for the defense supply chains, like the Indian Air Force, the Indian Army, or DRDO, or the Indian Navy, or even the BSF and CRPF, or and police authorities. So they have the requirements of new gadgets. They require all these products. Even they are looking for personal protective equipment to be developed indigenously, because earlier we used to export all of them from countries, and we used to use our foreign exchange for that. Now, keeping in mind that this is a huge potential area and we can make world-class defense products, so to keeping in mind this Z defense model came into place. There are 25 parameters, which includes defense outreach, means how you can develop a defense product, because there is a difference between a defense product and a normal product. It will be more robust and more reliable products would be required. So the life of a product is also very and testing of that product, reliability factors and other factors would be more. Then there are requirement technology specific to defense, because we talking about technology moving, as Chawla sir gave you an input for how technology is going to enter our industries. So similarly, this technology has also changed the way the defense is looking at cyber attacks, and other things are reality. We are reading a lot nowadays about cyber attacks happening to our installations, power, even the grids have been controlled through these cyber attacks, and they are having an impact. So we have to look into those areas, how we can improve technology. So those companies which are into technology developing apps for the defense setup. Then there are risk assessment requirements, which is again from a normal production line. Risk assessments here would be more because contingency requirements are more robust, more requirements, because in case your one product which fails has an impact in your say the normal delivery chain, there's a customer complaint, but in a defense it would be a serious lapse. So the risk assessment is more robust. Then there is defense quality system. Again, DGQA in India is the body which looks after this registration of companies which are supplying aeronautical parts, parts which are related to defense organizations, manufacturing of aeroplanes, submarines, and all those equipment. So the DGQA is the body which approves these suppliers. So DGQA system, there's a detailed DGQA manual which is there in which they use for actually like something which is similar to 9001, but the 9001 plus the defense requirements is part of DGQA requirement, and this Z model complements the DGQA requirements. Then it also asks for financial discipline, because here the cross-check is that we cannot ask the MNCs to come in and share that space, because financial discipline is one of the things the MSME has to look into, and this specific parameter is more and above the Z model. Then the security, safety, confidentiality requirements. Again, these are non-disclosure agreements as part of ISO 27001. Again, those companies who are into service domains, those companies which are looking for providing industry 4.0 solutions to say the defense market or any, or even developing websites, developing apps for these, they need to understand that confidentiality requirement would be greater, and they have to ensure good, robust information security management systems, and they have to look into post delivery and customer feedbacks also. Again, this is again feedback in the mechanism. You need to have good, robust systems, because any delay in a feedback or a delivery can be very taken very not it would be not taken as a disciplined act. So they might not give you orders based because you skipped one delivery or you delayed one delivery. Design discipline, again there are specific critical requirements, because we are developing right now in the first phase. This is only parts which you are manufacturing, not the original, because the original equipment is already there. Like we bought out the Rafale and all these tanks which have been supplied through various country agreements, and now we have to develop our own people and who can manufacture parts, sub assemblies which can fit into those original equipment. Now this is the first step, and then of course as the technology gets upgraded, and once the manufacturing sector gets to understand this market better, they will be developing their own products which they can market. Even once they are established and stable, they can even look into exporting these items across the globe. So design discipline is one thing which is very critical for this Z model. Now, looking at what are the disciplines we're going to talk here, it talks about production management, it talks about quality management, it talks about environment management. So production management, it talks about the production planning part, and how you do the production, and then like your SOP, your control plan, it covers those areas, plus the outputs, like desired output, like you do a PDI and other things. And then the quality management, it talks about all the framework which are part there in 9001. It covers the framework for how you can deliver quality incoming, in process, and final, and how you will deal with the customer complaints, and all those things, issues would be covered under this quality management discipline. And then there's environment management, which briefly touches your 14001, which is EMS, but it gives you a broader framework to look into how you can minimum start looking at regulation in a new way. You look at minimum completion of those regulations, so that environment, like your stack emission monitoring, your DG noise, your other areas where you can start initiating, at least meeting the regulatory requirements, and then you build up as you build your confidence that these are simple things which can be done easily, and then you go move and help your organization to develop further into these areas. It also covers energy management. Again, energy management is one of the subjects which a lot of the entrepreneurs look into in very detail, because this is something which you have immediate impact. In case you shift your lighting from, say, from traditional source to a from a conventional source, like from the grid, to say something from a solar energy, it actually reduces your cost. It helps to reduce your environmental footprint, carbon footprint. It also helps you to improve, actually pay you dividend by reducing your energy cost. So it is again felt by the energy bill you are getting each month. So this is one area which energy, this Z model helps you in understanding the energy requirements, and accordingly you can plan, have a strategic plan how you want to go about reducing your energy bill, and like from moving from traditional lighting towards LED lighting, and then moving towards having more transparent sheets on your rooftop, which skylights, which we call skylights, so that we don't need much lighting in our plants. So these are again modern solutions, and it helps you. You can have a planned way, and then model can help you to understand how we can plan our achievements. Most of the organizations have started looking at solar, but how to implement solar, which are the most critical areas. It helps you to review your energy review, do a baseline analysis. So these are the parameters there. And mostly it also talks about safety management. Safety management is occupational health and safety. Again, looking at, because any accident incident can keep your company very in the supply chain. It is considered very bad. In case an accident happens and you are not able to supply your material to your OEM or your customer, they will not take it lightly. And in case there is also penalties in this area due to legal requirements. So safety is very critical, and Z also considers that way. Then there are other disciplines which covers is natural resource management. Again, waste, as told by sir, waste. Again, waste, there is raw material waste, there is process waste, how you deal with those scraps, waste, e-waste, all types of those things, how you handle those natural resources is also their requirement. Then the intellectual property management. Again, most of the companies right now in India, the MSME sector is the one thing which is really missing in most of the sectors. Those who want to into being export oriented or to grab more business, there is intellectual property management, the IPR laws, the patent laws. We in India, we don't have much of awareness, and we don't actually go and register our products, and even we don't register our logos and brand names. So we get issues once, like you must have heard about the case study about Paytm. Paytm once became big, but they have used a color scheme which is equal to which is PayPal been using for many years. PayPal didn't actually complain, raise this issue till Paytm became very big. Now they have given them a 2,000 crore suit is there pending right now with PayPal, asking them 2,000 crore amount of money for settlement of this issue. So again, these are something which you have to look. When you are small, people will ignore these issues, but once you are stabilized, it will be very difficult for marketing your product, because your competitors would take advantage of your brand name, of your product qualities, because they will come into market late, but they will develop their product in a faster pace. They will register their product, they will patent their product, they will trademark their product, so and or copyright their material, and then it would be very difficult for any organization to fight back. So again, this is one area which is still very gray, and we don't. The MSME has to look into very ways. They need to understand this is required. Then there is a requirement of human resource management. Again, HR is one of the important pillars. We need to understand that human resource management talks about all these issues, uh, about labor laws and other, how you train your people, how you do induction. Because there's some saying that a CEO and CFO was sitting together, and the CFO said to the CEO, "Sir, we are investing so much on money in training. This is waste of money." And the CEO said only one thing: "Okay, you feel this is a waste of money. allow an untrained person on my shop floor and face the music then. So any untrained person in your shop floor can cause an accident, can cause a failure, product failure or process failure, which can be, we can feel the repercussions later also. So we need to look into human resource management, and this is an important discipline which is there in Z. But again, these are not mandatory ones. Human resource is not a mandatory one. Some of the parts would be mandatory, not all the things. So again, depends on the MSME size and structures, they can look into these. Then there is design management. Design management talks about how we design our products, design input, design activities. So again, this is an important pillar because you will survive this competition and you will become more competitive in your products you are designing your own. Like most of the design manufacturers in like the PP industry, they have to follow the international standards again. But like for some of the products, some of the things which are customer oriented, they have to design their own products which can be easier to use, and they have a niche of their own. So design management, again, where you have producing your own product, those who are part of the supply chain, they cannot have any say in the design way, but those which are manufacturing for the build for the say the for the market, built for the market is which they have to look into design management in the real way. Then there is overall company performance. It talks about all the indexes regarding performance. We again, KPIs, key performance indicators, like we do a review in which each year we review, okay, what is the cost, what is the new inventions, new products we launched, how much market share, what are the customer complaints, what are the customer feedback, what are the areas we need to improve on. So these are company performance indexes which you need to maintain and monitor, and each year you need to review on those parameters so that we can plan for the next year how we want to achieve those results. Now, coming up to the, like if you want a comparison, there are around 18 parameters which are strictly related to ISO 9001. So the major parameter in 9001 is QMS. So QMS remains the base. It has also some parameters, around 12 parameters, which have been linked through EMS, Environment Management System. Then there is something called lean manufacturing. As sir was telling you, lean, this is lean thinking. It talks about, again, the most of the content here is related to the lean concept. It also covers 5S and Kaizen requirements. This is the minimum requirements. Any organization, any, say, a productivity expert or anyone who comes to your factory, or even a customer tells you that 5S is the foundation stone on which your organization is built on. Like if you have a good 5S practices within the organization, it's half the battle won for all the audits. Because in audits, we generally get if the 5S is not proper, generally we get a comment, and that comment actually hurts us more, because ultimately we lose our time, we waste our time in finding things which is not available, right? And then it also talks about clean development, which is the mechanism of clean energy. We talk about green energy, using alternate energy sources, moving from solar, wind, or water energy, maintaining those mechanisms, CDM mechanism, which is clean development. So this CDM mechanism is also part in Z. So it gives you a push. So there are various schemes. Again, Z is not only in isolation that this is a model. It also helps you to, there are various government schemes. For in case you want to implement these schemes, first you need to perform as a minimum entry point. In case you fail in all the parameters, you cannot go for the subsidies. There are, government of India has given a lot of subsidies in the MSME sector. To avail the subsidy, you each have to start thinking that we are aware about these standards, and we are aware about improving these requirements. And then there is requirements related to supply chain, energy, IPR. So it covers all. It's a holistic model. Now coming up of the maturity levels, each parameter have this parameter has comprises of 5 maturity levels. Level 1 is your learner level. In case you are just starting, we don't aware about QMS, we are not aware about lean manufacturing, we are not aware about energy, we are not aware about. So we will, on these parameters, they will rate us as level 1, which is 0 marks, level 2, which is beginner mark. Again, beginner mark, again, some changes has happened here. Level 1 is now considered as 1 mark. So they start learning. Earlier, they used to call it also something as a beginner. So they have started with learner who just want to improve his industry or factory. He will start with level 1 and he will move towards level 2, level 3, level 4 and level 5, which is world class. Now world class is something we have to compare with again global companies, global economies, global companies in the same field. Like if you are a cement manufacturer, you have to see into who are the global players in cement industry and where I like. So if you are comparing and benchmarking against those, you will find usually audited or assessed based on those requirements only. So again, it's a typically a big learning curve for many organizations, but again, this is worth the journey you want to take. Now, rating is below 2.2, which is the score. In case you are not able to achieve 2.2 score also, you are considered that there is no rating for your organization. You are not even a bronze. So that the first level of this is the bronze level rating, which is 2.2 to 2.5. And then the silver rating, which is 2.5 to 3.0. And the gold rating, which is again considered as somewhere you are competing with the Indian companies and you are participating in regular trade fairs, you are participating in regular competitive analysis of say tendering system where the public procurement agencies are asking for quotations or proposals from your organization. So then in case you must be at gold, in case you are competing with all those quality companies. So above 3.0 to 3.5 would be gold. Diamond is above 3.5 and platinum is above 4.0 to up to 5.0. Again, platinum is world class. So for this is the rating level which have been decided. And how you come to understand what are the benefits of this? Again, the benefit is that since in the market, people are looking for suppliers, vendors. So they need credible, it gives you a credible recognition that international investors who are seeking investment in India can look into, okay, this is a company which is good in manufacturing sanitary products. This is a company which is a performer, solid performer into manufacturing these type of raw material or these types of processed or service industry. So part of that is that these it also becomes makes you a part of your supply chain of national international OEMs like the automotive sector. Now India is a hub of automotive sector. Most of the companies in India, like we are now manufacturing, all the bigger companies of the world in automotive sector has set up shop in India and they are manufacturing their products in India and they're even exporting from India. So this means that we are already competing in those areas and we have world-class OEMs and world-class tier suppliers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers. Again, this is part of the supply chain. And so they have been recognized. So this recognition in case of for other sectors, because the automotive sector have a stringent system of IATF 16949 and other assessments which they carry out each year for their vendors, and they have upgradation plans and they have good budgets to improve their vendors. For other sectors like the knitwear industry, the even the PP manufacturing industry, which is looking, because we are started supplying these vaccinations. Now this vaccine, if you are supplying vaccine from India to the globe, now there are options that we can supply our PPEs, we can supply our other equipment which are related to COVID-19 to across the world. Now, if you want to have more business share, more achievement, then you have to look into streamline your operations and lower your costs. So this is what Z wants us to do. Superior quality, reduce rejection and higher revenues. So again, these are some of the parameters you have to look into. Then increase environmental consciousness and social benefits. Again, consciousness is required because the environment is not for us, it's for the future generations. And again, Z-Mark helps the MSME to seen as a company with a difference, because each company has their ISO certificates, but most of the certificates, as we know in the market also, we are not sure all of them are genuine because there's a demand of rate consciousness, and then you get without audits certifications. So that's the gray area which we need to avoid, and that's how Z has come into place. It will help you in those areas. Now, simple process is defined there. I will not go into deep details because this is available on Z website. how you register, you do a online assessment, then you conduct a desktop assessment. Again, you are the person who is doing to do the desktop assessment and the online assessment. Online self-assessment you conduct as the organization does it itself, that where you rate yourself in quality, environment, health, safety, and other parameters, which you select as 20 mandatory parameters would be there, and 10 would be again parameter which you feel your organization is good in, or your customer is asking for those parameters. So keeping in mind, you select and then you do a online assessment based on that rating. If your score is about 2.2, then the desktop assessment comes and they will review through the desktop. They will ask for some evidences on those rating points which you have given, and based on that they will conduct a site assessment. They will come to your place, do an audit, and then they will give you a rating and certification, and this rating is valid for 4 years. Again, as in ISO systems, you have a surveillance audit. There's a surveillance audit, a reassessment on each year, and then there is gap analysis and hand holding, again in case you need them. That's not mandatory. In case you feel like you can improve your performance, you want to improve your performance in some areas, like in IPR, say your organization has good products, you are exporting already, but you have a concern in IPR, that your organization doesn't know about intellectual property rights and other conditions, how you can create an edge in the market and the differentiator. Then you can pick up IPR consultant can come into your organization and help you to improve your IPR standing. Even those companies which are looking at technology upgradation might be feeling, okay, how I can get technology. So this is the framework which has come into the knowledge. Now looking at one example of a parameter, I will just give you a brief parameter example of Z. Process control, its relevance. Process control is one of the things which is important. It's a mandatory parameter. Again, generally we say the quality. In quality, we use SQC, we use SPC. The objective is that application of statistical quality control method to monitor and control processes to identify variances as a basis for continuous improvement. So we look at the SPC and SQC to check, verify the data on the shop floor or the productive or during production. You made a control chart just to review where your performance is, what is your performance capabilities, and so you measure that and you try to identify the variances, what are the gaps, and then what are the things which can lead to continuous improvement. So that is the objective of this all SPC and SQC. We do it. So basically we are trying to use data and statistics to identify areas which we feel are called opportunities, or areas which require improvements. So we can identify, okay, this machine, we are manufacturing this part, and this part is getting rejected due to out of dimension here. So we can have a SPC. So we can have data for, say, a full production lot, and then we can analyze on that production lot that what are the variances, which are the areas which we need to improve to perform as per our customer expectations. Now, determining these are known as control measures. We aim for that. That's the benchmark we want to achieve, and then we try to validate those during in our production areas. We try to train our people how to measure this parameter. Like if you are using tools, we might be using now the latest technologies of 4.0, and these we need to validate but the control measures, and then we need to implement these. Once these are validated, we'll improve. So again, this activity which we carry out, so this concept is basically to improve your existing system, to improve further. Well, this is the, like sir was telling you, that yesterday should be better than today. Now, yesterday, today should be better than yesterday. So this is how we have to look into continuous improvement concept. So we have to adopt new technologies or methodologies. So the decision must be based on one principle, which is decision based on evidence. So evidence is to be collected through your SPC and SQC. In case you take an unwarranted decision, okay, this fellow gentleman or my competitor has used this technology and he's upgraded, let's invest in this technology. Now, sometimes this can be a very risky proposition, because he has considered and have a thorough risk analysis. He studied the data. Based on that data, he took a call to invest in technology. But you just copying that will not make you succeed. So you need to understand what are my capabilities, what are my. So if you have that data available with you, take a decision based on your own data, do the thorough analysis, understand what are the scope of this investment, and can collect your ROI data, return on investment. All those concepts need to be understood, and then take the existing step. Now, the continuous improvement is again a subset of your continuous improvement, which is PDCA, being used in PDCA: plan, do, check, act. So plan your new investment, do that investment. You want to improve, have hire new tools, hire new people, add machine, method, material into your processes. So again, whether these improvements or investments are incremental improvement based or not, again, this would be told to you through your data only. So data analysis is very important. Big data, again, in industry 4.0 is one of the important tools which should help you. So this is how the maturity assessment model looks. You say the plan approach. In the planning approach, you say the learner. We don't have any approach for process control. We don't have any process control chart in the process. Then you are a learner. In case you have some approach, you do it for some parts. Like for some customers or some parts, you are having a process control approach. You are measuring some CP, CPK. You are measuring some process parameters like input, activity, output. You are measuring. You have some targets they are given to your production people. They are measuring that. And then organization would be process control approach available for critical processes. So again, if you want to become organized, then you need to have a process control sheet which is to be regularly maintained. It should be part of your QMS. Each and every process or activity you carry out must be documented. The record must be maintained, and this approach must be at least for critical areas. Everything should be defined, and the achiever would be, it should be defined for all the processes. So they are given a benchmark. Say if you are doing for only ad hoc basis, you are a beginner. If you are doing started to do for a say 50% of your products are through proper channel and document and data is available, then you are organized. In case you want to become an achiever, you have to implement to the length and breadth of each and every process of your organization. So that's you have to look into. Then there are similar online controls. In case you are started using technology, it's automatically calculated. Some POCAs are there, some new tools, like many organizations have started using digital dashboards. Of course, these are being used in automotive sector and the aeronautical sector, in some tier 1 and tier 2 companies, and even the OEMs. But most of the organizations have started using, even I have seen organizations which are into cosmetic manufacturing. They are manufacturing packaging material. They have started using this online controls. So all the SPC data is collected by the machines itself, and they have been analyzed by the team on a regular daily meetings. They review each and every process parameter. So this is how you look into from, it's a grid system. So wherever you lie, you can go for each and every level and try to measure where you are there. This is a typical GPS. So where you are, in case you are a beginner in say the planning phase, in deployment, you might have SOPs available. You are already a certified company and you are already following these things. You have deployed these things, but you are not taken 100% applicability of that process or parameter. You might be organized there in deployment, but you might not do a monitor on the CAPA activity regularly. So these are the some things which you need to look into. So this is what you look into. Another parameter which you can look at is again, one of the things which we talk about is 5S, which we call clean and tidy, organized and cheerful workplace, and improving productivity by involving all. So this again, this is something which is common to all the MSME sectors. What we want to do is segregate what is needed and needed later and not needed. So we try to understand what is being used, not in use, and what which will be used, what is the future requirement. So in case we need to discard what is not needed, which is surplus to our needs, we need to remove that. Segregate need items or sequence of use, arrange items so that they are easy to find, readily retrieved. So all those things need to be looked into. Now, an unclean environment contains hidden risk for worker and equipment. It can cause health issues. It can cause always increase your accident, downtimes, and problems. So how this has been looked into, I will not tell you about 5S. 5S we know this is one thing. How this has been looked into by the Z model, you can look at this parameter. It talks about the Swachh workplace. So it takes anyhow it is looking at the activities in the production area. Unclean work area is there. There's clutter available, and you are not segregated, and even you are not oneness. You are not aware about this. Then you are at the first level, which is the beginner level. Now, if you want to be a learner, you need to understand and have an awareness session for your people about 5S. At least start with 1S. Sorting should be there. Red tagging area need to be marked in your organization. You can have gangway marked. At least start organizing your shop floor into those areas. Then, if you want to become organized, you need to start using visual management tools, displays, proper red tag areas. Have initiative for 2S. Everything is in place and everything for use is available. And then start also initiating your cleaning activities of cleaning your spick and span activity of cleaning your machine and those things as a routine activity. So that's the initial part. And then if you standardize this, if you start regularly following this, then you would come to an achiever level. And then the achiever level includes your 5S audits, it includes your display scorecards, it includes job cycle chart, visual cues, signs always available. And then if you want to become world class, then again this is something you have to compare. So again you have 5S 5-minute 5S activity in a routine. You can always do a 5S within 5 minutes. It means everything is there. You just need to set it right within 5 minutes. If you can set it right in 5 minutes, then your 5S is world class. If you can't set and you have to take days and days to actually, what happens during our Diwali times, we try to clean our homes. It takes days at least for the whole family to actually make it clean and neat. So similarly, it is not a world class 5S. World class 5S is that you just don't need much because daily cleaning is happening, daily recording the, and you just have to just put some displays just to organize certain things, so you are good to go. So this is what this Swachh workplace is required. So this is one of the typical ways Z looks like. Now in this you can see how it is there in the structure of the Z. Now there are various structures. Because the time is short, I cannot go into details of each and every parameter, but the only I'm giving you a flavor that this is how Z has asked you, or is basically a model which you can use for improving your process activities, improving your productivity goals, improving your quality goals or safety goals. So again, here you can see difference from the planning part. There's no communication, and to world class, see the difference. The standard work is available, daily 5S is done, and there's a visual management. So this is what you are looking at, the difference between a normal company and a world class company. So it gives you a roadmap. Z is only giving you a roadmap. It's up to the organizations they want to grab. Again, there are subsidies available for this scheme, but again, MSME wants that subsidy, but most of the organizations in the globe are asking is why the industry needs a motivation to improve themselves. So this is an improvement tool. So use it, subsidy or no subsidy. Try to use this tool to improve your productivity, to meet your goals, customer expectations. Try to achieve meeting your environmental goals also. These are some of the things which will help us. Now, another concept which I hope I don't have much of time to explain this, just to give you a flavor, this is material flow cost accounting. Again, this MSC is there's a traditional way of accounting, and then there's another way which is where we can focus on waste, as profit is hidden in waste. So MFCA finds out the hidden profit. MFCA makes you material loss visible. So it basically an accounting system which helps you to understand what is the hidden profit. So we can remove those barriers. We can make material loss visible so that we can account for those. Now, looking to example, what is material flow cost accounting? It talks about material. Material is what? It's a product and manufacturing material loss. Again, the product is the amount of raw material you use to make a product. Again, if you take a sheet, you manufacture, try to cut a piece out of it which can be used say for casting, then forging, and then giving a machining output, and then the machining is then converted to a product. Might be might be an item for this tap industry, might be an item for say auto tool part or any part. So this is what a product is derived from it. So with traditional manufacturing, we are actually removing material, so there's waste generated. So that waste is again how you handle that waste. So as an organization, you understand the flow also, because the material moves through that flow, and the material is not done, all the activities not done in one shop. There are different operators doing different jobs, and there are waste accumulated at each and every stage of your supply chain. And then you do a cost accounting on based on that. That what are the losses in my manufacturing, my supply chain. So you calculate that way. Now, to just briefly understand this, this is what we call it amount of material loss is calculated based on the amount of total input and products in a selected part or a process in which input and output are quantified. So this is how this looks at. This part of the process is defined as a quantity center in MFCA. So this we look into input method. We have a quantity center. We look at the production process. We look at the materials, and then we do the products. The products is basically calculated through material loss. Now output can be considered as waste because they are not in use. Those material which is like sheet you cut it, rest of the sheet is not being used, so it's a waste. Then how you balance that against your costing is the work of a cost accountant who looks into that details. Now understanding this, like what is happening in right now in Chandigarh also, we have this mechanism where the vehicle is coming to our homes, and to collect waste they want us to segregate the waste. So this waste collection, they have organized the vehicles, they come into our place, they go to then the scrap area where they will scrap that material, they will reuse or recycle that material based on requirement. So there are waste processes which we try to convert. We try to manufacture gas, we try to manufacture electricity, we try to manufacture fuel, so that we can use that material for some positive accumulation. So some activity where we can improve our productivity based on use of waste. So again, what it's a typically long process. It takes that we understand the processes. We look into seeing this as slide. You can look into raw material again is a process. Then there are materials in a process. Then we look at component level, we look at the catalyzer level, we look at the products in the process, and then we look at the material losses. So material loss is there at each stage. At the raw material level, once you start, like you take a product, you remove some, you do some processing of it, you might do a chemical, you might do removing some say the part of say some rust from that material, you do a treatment. So that's again some loss happens during that process also. Then in manufacturing equipment, there would be some errors, there would be out of like quality rejections. That again during manufacturing process there would be quality rejections, like out of dia, some damage during production. All these would be something you need to calculate. Then there would be material for cleaning. Again in cleaning process, you are washing your equipment, then during washing the solvent might has some hazardous impact, you will have material loss there. And again raw material that becomes unusable for any reason, again that material becomes unusable due to quality failure, due to any failures can help. Look at this example. This is one of sand weight. Again this one part here is 10-gram part, this is the 4-gram part. So how they have reduced their waste by, earlier they had a 10-gram waste, now this part has been, they have decreased the cost, decreased the weight. How this weight reduction has also helped us to remove the improve our costs. So this is again a total implementation method. We don't have much time to understand the total method. This might help you. This one slide would help you. You have raw material like pipes. You do a lubrication on that pipe, then you do a pointing, means put some pointing, you do a cold drawing. After cold drawing, you have a heat treatment, you have straightening, you have cutting, then you have a hydraulic test, and then you put rust preventing oil, and then you do inspection, then you don't do non-destructive testing, and then you put a marking on that pipe. So these are typically for say water fitting GI pipes. This is what you do. So this packaging, and then you do a final delivery. So there are several areas where losses can happen. All these processes, you have to look into details, each and every process, and then try to remove the waste and calculate that waste. What is the cost of that waste? And then once you are able to do that cost, you will be able to do. There is a standard 14051, which is the ISO standard. Those who are very identifying using this, they can always follow the standard to use for detailed understanding of the subject. Because the time is short, I will not be able to conclude this part. So any questions related to same or any other for the earlier session, you can ask for those.
Yeah, we
if you
can
have any
have
questions.
queries from the participants.
Yeah, yes.
We'll have one by one. You can show a raise of hand.
Hello.
Hello, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am, I am Dhaval Shukla from SBL Coating Specialty Coatings Private Limited.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding Z to Ankur sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
we are already into a process of Z certification,
Okay.
and we have already completed 2 stages of this.
Mhm.
But there is nothing happening from QCI to clear third stage since last 1 year. So what is happening there, that I want to know actually. So
Okay. Again, this has to be taken up by the quality council. You have to write to them.
yes, I have already written so many mails to QCI already.
Okay.
But I think they are.
What is the last feedback you received, sir? What is the last feedback you received?
I think they generally write that stay with us. We will let you inform. But again, many time,
So your desktop audit has been already completed, sir, or this is still pending?
yes, it is completed. It is already
Okay,
completed. They
okay,
have
the site audit, your site assessment has not happened.
yes, site assessment is pending, sir. And in desktop assessment, they have scored us in gold category.
Okay.
But site assessment is pending since last 1 year, sir. So
Okay.
to whom to contact? I have already written to QCI, but the answer is the same all the time. That
you have to put this to z.org.
Yes.
There, Mr. You have to. There's actually the head of Z is Mr. I think, or you can write to the Secretary General there, Mr. Or the Mr. Zadin. Well, you can find the numbers there. You can directly mail to him. He will be again. If you can always collect all those things which you have done already.
Yeah.
You have whatever evidences you have that stage 1 has your initial audit has been done. You just write to him. I think marking to him would make an impact.
Right.
Again, earlier they used to have a person in Chandigarh. I don't know. Right now he's that Z cell in Chandigarh is active or not, because he used to say it is Punjab Industry, the Punjab Industry Department.
It is not active now. Means that is now scrapped.
I see. Okay.
So you have to write to them only, sir. Right.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much.
What is the name of your company? I will see if I can inquire something.
SBL Specialty Coatings Private Limited. We are the paint manufacturers. Basically, Bajjar paint.
Oh, the Bajjar paint. Okay. Right.
Any other query? Yes, Anand sir, you can unmute and you can ask your query.
Yeah, Deji, I have asked many other colleagues, units, okay, why they are not adopting Z. What impression I have that it is not very popular scheme. People have not adapted it. What can be the reason?
So the reason in this again the seeing being something which is promoted through government channels, generally the private industry doesn't want to take it up so easily, because there are like you have some experience of Mr. Dhaval. He gave you that impression generally is known to the private industry. They don't want to invest their time into some government schemes. Again, there are various other schemes which are successful, and there are certain schemes. Actually, this model is good. It's an excellent model for seeking improvements. But the only thing is the agencies which are being asked to handle there's too much of work and too much of little time given for implementing the same thing on the ground. And still, the scale up actually, the issue is scale up. The scale up has been not been too great. Again, many of the organizations which implemented also they have done their on their own, which have already good systems. Organizations which were seeking improvement didn't came around. Only the organizations which are already certified through various other schemes, like they have already ISO systems, they have good TK models and business excellence models in their organization. They easily achieve the ratings, but the other organizations are facing the struggle because on the ground level, the hand holding was kept at the later stage. It was initially that you register once,
Yes.
because many of the industry in MSME sector actually looks at hand holding at the start level itself. But here the MSME, the scheme itself says first register yourself, and the hand holding would come once you give your rating. And once you get a bronze rating, then we will give you a hand holding for say a silver or a gold or a
Yes.
further
I will
level.
just add to this, Ankur, what you are saying. I
Yes.
think they were also thinking on this line. This was one of the roadblock which they are having, that the
Yes.
hand holding is at the later stage. I'm
Yes.
not sure how many of you are aware that in PEC, when I was in PEC, we were also having a center for Z over there. We organized few programs also, but those were not getting popular. One of the reason was this, that hand holding was at a very later stage. But I came to know later that now the government of India is thinking that they will have hand holding in advance also. I'm not sure at what stage that is, but that is one limitation which was there. Otherwise, this model is very good. ISO is based on compliance, whereas Z is, you can say, it's based on competence. That uh, maybe two company who are having ISO 9000, but on Z rating they might be at a different levels. So if it can be adopted by, and secondly, many things, regulatory things, they work when we are finding some incentive in that. Incentive in the sense, say ISO 9000 got popular because our export was linked to that. So that is why people ran after the ISO 9000. Otherwise, ISO 9000 is also a good scheme, but now we know that what happened to ISO 9000. Similarly, Z, it has to be driven by some OEM or some government. Say, I can say that I will buy something who is Z compliant or not. Especially for export, also means such scheme can be there. I am sure it will be there. But the major problem is that the hand holding was at a very later stage, and that is the reason why it was not getting popular.
Is there any importance of the Z certification in international markets?
International market, they are trying to make it popular, because when I first attended this program, they were saying that if somebody has to do some business in the India, so how will they do? So crystal rating is there, that is for financial, you can say, security is there. And similarly, they want to make it popular, that if the person is having a good Z rating, so you will get a better export. That was the intention. But I am not sure whether it is serving that purpose or not.
I knew a few people who have been Z certified, but they
Yes.
were already doing good. They are organized.
Yes.
I am not able to get the data whether they have got any benefit from this certification or not.
Yes, the benefit will come, either your export will increase, or some government buying or some institutional buying is increased. It is linked to that. Only then it will get popular.
It is totally dependent on government. This
हाँ
scheme.
बिल्कुल सही बोला आपने. It totally depend on. That's what I'm telling you ना, कि I was handling that cell over there, but there was no demand, and I think no people might not be aware that there is one cell Z cell in Punjab Engineering College.
I
Right, sir.
request all
Thank you.
participants to kindly on your videos, we'll have one group photograph. Thank you.
Thank you.
So any further query?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Naresh
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Ankur sir, for your
Thank you.
time and for listening and answering the queries of the participants. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're expecting something on the guitar next time, Naresh sir.
Sure, sure. This guitar is not mine. It's for my daughter. She
In that, by you.
I request all participants to kindly share your feedback also. I have, put the link in the chat box. If you
Yeah,
can share your feedback.
already shared. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Closing the
Thank you.
session.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.